Live on a Sunday night, the final Sunday in September. Welcome into the Bullpen. I am your host, Adam the Bull, and we are brought to you by Bet Rivers. If you're not using the Bet Rivers app, you're missing out. What a day, what a day. The Browns get boat raced by the Detroit Lions in Detroit. Is it time to make a change at quarterback? And the Guardians pull off the most improbable comeback in baseball history. They win the AL Central. They had actually already clinched it when the Tigers lost, but then they had a walk-off win. And finally, almost a walk-off win for my fall baseball team. We got our game got suspended due to darkness in a tie, and we'll have to continue the extra innings on another day. It's unbelievable. What a crazy day. We're going to talk not about that, but about the Browns and about the Guardians winning their, as you see, 13th AL Central title 2 years in a row. Unbelievable. And they'll start their series against the Tigers on Tuesday. That's all coming up on today's episode of the Bullpen with Adam the Bull. We got Max and Z with us today. So a lot to get into. First, I want to let you know that players who place a qualifying same-game parlay of at least $10 on eligible NFL or NCAA football games will receive one standard entry into the weekly Squares game. Winning standard Squares will be awarded a prize of a $20 bonus bet. See the app and website for more details. Thanks to everybody that is with me in the chat today. I guess I got to shut off my computer volume. There you go. You see we have a poll there in the chat. Should the Browns make a change at quarterback? I think they should, and most of you think they should, but doesn't feel like the Browns are going to do that just about now. And even though Joe Flacco, again, did not play particularly well, let's start there. We'll start. Should I start with the you know what? I'm going to give all of you that's the poll. That should have been the poll. Z asked me what he wanted the poll to be, but the poll should be. Z, can we switch the poll right now? Is it possible or too late? All right, I'd like you to put up a poll. Should I do the Guardians and then the Browns, or the Browns and then the Guardians? In other words, folks, do you want the bad news first, or you want the good news first? Should we talk about the Guardians first? I'm going to do both, but I'm going to give you guys all a couple of minutes to decide. I'll filibuster a little bit to see. There it is. There's the poll. It's up. We're gonna put this poll up for 1 minute, and then I'm gonna jump it. Do you want to hear the good news first or the bad news first? And then we decide. Other things. I'll give you a couple other things. In the meantime, also in Major League Baseball today, the American League East was up for grabs. And the Blue Jays locked up the top seed in the American League with a win over the Rays. Yankees won also, so they needed to win. The final National League wild card was still up for grabs. And the Mets needed to win and have the Reds lose. Well, the Reds lost, but the Mets lost also, shut out by the Marlins. And so the Reds and Terry Francona, they are going to the playoffs as well as the 6th seed, as the Mets are left out. All right. Let's close the poll. I'm going to vote on it. I'm not going to tell you. 52% want to start with the Browns, so that's what we're going to do. All right, we'll start with the bad first, then we'll get to the good. It was very close voting. All right, let's start with the Browns. So the Browns this afternoon, they did a great job to start the game, right? Lions get the ball. Their first possession, 3 and out. Great job by the defense. A lot of talking this week. Lions saying, hey, and they haven't seen a running game like ours. Browns saying, you haven't seen a run defense like ours. A lot of talking early. And right off the bat, Lions go 3 and out. Browns get the ball. Not good field position. After the punt, the Browns started the drive at their own 12-yard line. And Joe Flacco, who was mediocre in the first game and terrible in games 2 and 3, got off to a nice start. Hits Jerry Jeudy. They hand off to Judkins. Back-to-back first down plays, right? Then on a third and medium, Flacco hits Isaiah Bond for 16 yards. There was a penalty anyway, so they would have gotten the first down anyway. Flacco then to Jerry Jeudy. Nice play for 33 yards. And just like that, the Browns were at the Lions' 12-yard line. Flacco then to Jeudy again for 4 yards. Then to Cedric Tillman to the 1-yard line. It was a nice play by Cedric Tillman. Took a big hit. Okay. Now it starts to look like it's going south. First down, Judkins up the middle. They stop him. Second down, Flacco quarterback keeper. They stop him. Third down, Flacco quarterback keeper. They stop him. And you're thinking, oh, boy. Now, you knew they were going to go for it on fourth down. You got to go for it on fourth down. You're thinking, okay, this would be typical Browns, right? Not going to score. Great drive. Start the game. The offense has been terrible, but here we go. We're off to a great start, and now we're going to go 4 and out on the goal line, essentially. But that was not the case. It was not same old Browns. As Quinshon Judkins was able to just get through that line for a 1-yard touchdown run and give the Browns a 7-0 lead. At that point, I get on Twitter, and I said, let me give my – sorry, I'm accurately reading my own tweets. This was my tweet. This was my only tweet during the game because I was busy. I don't like to tweet that much during the game, but my only tweet was after that touchdown drive. I said, wow, what a drive. Most impressive of the year despite the stress on the goal line. And at that point, the Browns had a 7-0 lead. There was a long drive. They had shut down the Lions on their first possession, and you were feeling good. Little did we know that the offense would go to sleep for the rest of the day. I guess we shouldn't be surprised because the Browns haven't even scored 20 points outside of a Jameis Winston start since Joe Flacco 2 years ago. That the offensive ineptitude would take hold. The Lions on the following possession tied the game up on an 8-yard touchdown run by Jahmyr Gibbs, and it was pretty much all Lions from there on out. Joe Flacco got picked on just an absolutely awful throw. I don't know what happened there. I don't know if Tillman ran the wrong route. Either way, it was a terrible throw by Joe Flacco. And that was basically the sign of things to come for the rest of the day. Lions, after the turnover, the Browns defense did, for the most part, played well. I mean, think about it. Here's the Lions drive. After that first touchdown the Lions had on their second drive was legit. They moved the ball, blah, 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 right? First drive was 4 plays, 20 yards, and a punt. After the touchdown drive, after the turnover, 5 plays, 16 yards, field goal. Defense did a great job. Next Lions drive, 4 plays, 24 yards, punt. 3 plays, negative 1-yard punt. Joe Flacco throws another interception. It gets returned to the 5-yard line. Lions score a touchdown that way. 3 plays, 5 yards, touchdown. Okay. Next drive, right before the half, they had a nice drive to get the field goal range. Kicker makes a long kick. Second half, interception. 4 plays, 2 yards, interception. Terrible throw by Goff. 3 plays, 6 yards, punt. Fourth quarter, 5 plays, 31 yards on downs. Like, the Lions didn't really move this. Like, the Browns, yeah, in the end, they got boat raced. They got blown out. They lost 34-10. But once again, the defense did their job. The Lions only had 275 yards of offense. Now, Jahmyr Gibbs was really good. He had a good game. He was the first running back to have a good game against the Browns. But David Montgomery did nothing. He had 9 carries for 12 yards. Amon Brown made some big plays. He was wide open in the end zone twice. I don't know what happened there. That was it. I mean, Amon had a solid game. Jahmyr Gibbs had a really good game. That was it. Quinshon Judkins, he was fine. There weren't a lot of great holes. I thought he had a decent game. 21 for 82 and a touchdown. Less than 4 yards per carry. Nobody had a great game in the passing game. Joe was, after that first drive, he was horrible. I mean, I thought he played really well on that first drive. He started, what was he on that drive? Let me go through this again. Joe, on that first drive, I want to say he was like 6 for 6 for 60 yards. Let's see. One for 1 for 11 yards. Did 2 for 2, 27. 3 for 3 for 60. 4 for 4, 64. 5 for 5, 70. So on the first drive of the game, Joe was 5 for 5 for 70 yards. 5 for 5, 70 yards. No touchdowns, no picks. The rest of the game, he was 11 for 29 for 114 yards, no touchdowns, 2 picks. That's less than 4 yards per attempt. Even for the whole game, including that first drive, he still averaged a woeful 5.4 yards per attempt. But under 4, Dillon Gabriel came in right at the end of the game. It was 0 for 1. I think it's time for Gabriel. And the Browns are just not going to do it. They're not going to do it. I just don't think they are. Man, my hair's a disaster. Sorry, I was wearing a baseball cap coaching a bunch of little kids who were heartbroken that we had a suspended game. We'll see what happens. But Joe Flacco's playing terrible football. I mean, you really can't play much worse. 3 turnovers. He fumbled also. You have no shot. The Browns defense can't play better than they have through 4 games, and they're 1-3. You can't win, no matter how good your defense is. You can't win when you have the worst offense in football. You cannot. You just can't. And that's the situation that they are in. The Browns look like the best defense in football and the worst offense in football. And that's why, I thought, in the end, we could debate offense versus defense. All I know is last year, the Bengals had the best offense in football and the worst defense. They didn't make the playoffs, but they went 9-8. The Browns have the opposite. They probably, and we got to see it for a whole season before we're sure about it, but the Browns have one of, if not the best defense in football, and they clearly have the worst offense in football, and they're not going 9-8. We all know this. Not if they remain the worst offense in football. No, it's certainly not all on Joe Flacco. He doesn't have great weapons. He's got some decent weapons, but he doesn't have great weapons. The offensive line was, I thought the offensive line wasn't as horrible this week, but it still was not good. It still was bad. Judkins is the only guy doing anything in the running game, obviously. The rest of the guys are kind of out of the mix. Sampson and Ford barely touching the ball, and they're just not able to run it consistently enough. They ran 27 times, threw it 35. I mean, getting blown out in the second half. I mean, that's about as even as you're going to get. Lions 29 runs, 27 passes in this game. So the Browns fall to 1-3. They'll go to England to play the Vikings next week. I think we'll probably see Dillon Gabriel against the Dolphins, is my guess, too, on October 19th. Because I'd be surprised if they made a change going to England, and they're not going to make the change for going to the Steelers, the first place Steelers. But after the Steelers, you got the Dolphins, the Patriots, the Jets. You got 3 games in a row. Not great teams. And the Dolphins game is at home. I think Dillon Gabriel's got to start by the Dolphin game. They're probably going to be 1-5. There's no reason to believe they're going to win. I mean, they've scored 56 points in 4 games. I mean, that is just crazy. 56 points in 4 games. I mean, that's what? 13 a game, 26, 50, 14 a game. They're averaging 14 points a game. You can't win in the NFL. I don't care how good your defense is. In the 2 road games, the if you just saw the score and you say the Ravens scored 41 and the Lions scored 34, the defense was not good. No, the defense played well in both of those games. If you can't, if you're blaming the defense at all for this game, you're out of your mind. They have played 4 of the top 10 offenses in the league, and the defense has played by far well enough to win all 4 games. And they've won 1 game. And I don't see it, how it's getting better. And I'm not expecting anything from Dillon Gabriel. I don't think Dillon Gabriel is the answer at quarterback. But I know Joe Flacco's not. And Joe's had a great career. He gave us a lot of excitement 2 years ago. He's an awesome dude. But he's getting killed back there. He's not making the throws. Did he make one good throw after that first drive? I mean, I guess there were 1 or 2, but it's just painful to watch. Guys, do we have the early line on the Browns game next week against Minnesota? Yeah. So it's a neutral site game. Vikings are only a 4.5-point favorite, and the Browns are technically the home team, but it's in London, so it's really, you're not getting those points for home field. I'm actually surprised the Vikings are only a 4.5-point favorite. That kind of surprises me. Vikings are 2-2. They lost to the Steelers today. They didn't play a particularly good game. They're probably going to have Carson Wentz. And he didn't really – if you look at Carson Wentz's numbers, they look good, but most of that was in garbage time in the game against the Steelers. And they kicked the Bengals' ass last week, but the week before that, they played poorly. They're 2-2. I mean, they're an okay team, but they're better than the Browns. I mean, they could score. They've scored 21 in 3 of their 4 games. So, I would expect the Vikings to win the game, and I think the Steelers. I think the Browns are probably going to be 1-5, and that's where we're at. All right, I'll take some comments on the Browns, and then we're going to switch gears to the good news. Let's see. Raul Havana says Ray Farmer was texting Kevin the plays. If you know, you know on that one. RJ's itchy band hammer. Why are Browns receivers using their chest to catch the ball? Look at the tape. It's been an issue. That is an issue. David Greenshield. All we have is a good running back and a couple of good tight ends. Pretty much it. Pretty much sums it up. And you got to listen. Jerry Jeudy's a solid wide receiver. Let's not get over the top, but he's not playing great. I am Tony Z. Swap players with the Lions. Kevin still loses. I don't agree with that at all. Todd says Berry needs to be fired. Antonio says Quinshawn is a dog. Atlanta Dave, receivers drop passes and run the wrong routes, and they're still marching them out there. No accountability. Sean Finnerty, this is one of the stupidest tweets. Joe Burrow is done in the NFL. Not only does he suck, he gets hurt all the time. Now, to get hurt all the time is fair. To say he sucks is you're an ignoramus. But good for you. Maybe he is done in the NFL. Charles says every team in the NFL is a pro team. Put Dillon in. We can't get worse than 32. No, listen. I think I made it clear. I would play Dillon Gabriel this week. I'm just telling you, I'll be shocked if they do it. I hope they do. All right. Let's switch gears to a team that deserves more conversation. Cleveland Guardians today, after clinching a playoff spot yesterday, Guardians had a walk-off win, beat the Rangers 9-8. I'll be honest, I could not watch the game today because I was out with the team that I coach. So because so we were keeping an eye on the game, and once I heard that the Tigers had lost, We took a breath there, but I couldn't watch the game today. I actually we'll probably watch it when I get done here because I always DVR the games that I can't see. DVR. Not really DVRing anymore. Anyway, but so the win itself didn't matter, but still cool to kind of keep momentum going into the playoffs. Guardians finished with 88 wins, 88-74. I mean, that's so remarkable that they win this division by a game over the Tigers. They were down 15 and a half at one point. They were down 11 24 days ago. Brian Rocchio and John Kenzie Noel hit home runs. Jose Ramirez with 3 stolen bases to give him 44 on the year. Logan Allen did not pitch well, but in the end, the Guardians did not use any of their key guys today. It'll be Gavin Williams and Tarek Skubal. The Guardians are going to play the Tigers in Cleveland. It's a best-of-3 series. They're going to play. They're going to play the first game on Tuesday night, and it will be Tarek Skubal for the Tigers. They didn't use him today, and it will be Gavin Williams for the Guardians. I am really excited about this. I love the Guardians' chances. If they win the series, they will move on to play Seattle. The seeding in the American League, the Blue Jays are the top seed, the Mariners are the 2, Guardians are the 3, Yankees are the 4, Red Sox are the 5, Tigers are the 6. So you have Guardians, Tigers in the first round, Red Sox, Yankees, Reds, Dodgers, and Cubs, Padres. Those are the wild card games. The Guardians are going to get lowest priority in terms of time, so be prepared for that. Obviously, Red Sox, Yankees will be the top billing one, and the other 2 series have the Cubs and Dodgers, the second and third market. So Guardians, Tigers is going to be, get pissed now, get it over, whatever you want to do. It's going to happen. They're going to play. I don't know if the times have been set yet. Let me take a look here. Okay, there you go. Did you guys have that up? Okay. Yeah. Here we go. So 108, game 1, as the guy said. Game 2 is also, the first 3 games are all 108. Actually, that would change potentially. But if some of the series, if the Guardian series goes 3 games and the some of the others end at 2, then they would probably move the game back. But as of now, for all 3 days, it'll be Tigers, Guardians at 108, Padres, Cubs 308, Red Sox, Yankees 608, Reds, Dodgers 908. So we will have a live. I will be doing live podcasts immediately following Tigers Guardians starting Tuesday. I'll be on live Tuesday afternoon. And so after every Guardians playoff game, make sure you join me. Tonight we went on at 8 o'clock. But once the playoffs start on Tuesday, Wednesday, hopefully no Thursday, unless they lose one of the first 2, of course. So Tuesday, Wednesday, and if necessary, Thursday, I will be on live here in the bullpen immediately following the games between the Guardians and Tigers. The pitching matchup, again, for Game 1, it's going to be Gavin Williams and Tarek Skubal. Game 2, I'm assuming, will be Bybee and Flaherty. If they do go to a Game 3, it'll be interesting to see who the Guardians go with. I would think they'd go with Slade Ciccone. If the Guardians do win, like I said, they'll play the Mariners on Saturday. So they'll have to use a 4th starter if the series goes 3 games, because Gavin Williams will not be able to pitch on Saturday unless they pitch him on 3 days rest. And that wouldn't make much sense. If the Guardians win, it goes 2 games. We'll either see Ciccone, I think, or Cantillo probably pitch Game 1 of the next round. But let's take it one step at a time. Again, the playoffs getting started in a day and a half. Tuesday at 1:08 Eastern. If you have to work, it stinks. The games will be on ESPN. But make sure you tune in live almost immediately after the game, and I'll be there for the instant reaction. So just a magnificent end of the season for the Guardians. It's really amazing what they did and how well they played down the stretch. To finish with 88 wins, it's just remarkable. It's just remarkable. There was no way anybody thought that was going to be the case. Again, they lost when they had lost 4 out of 5 from the end of August to the beginning of September. And when they woke up on the morning of September the 5th, the Guardians were under 500. Again, 23 days ago, the Guardians woke up under 500 at 69-70. And they finished the season 19-4 in their last 23 games. Just absolutely remarkable. They won every series the rest of the way. Swept 3 from Tampa. Took 3 of 4 from Tampa. 2 of 3 from the Royals. No, 3 of 4 from the Royals. Swept the White Sox 3. Swept the Tigers in 3. 3 out of 4 against Minnesota. 2 out of 3 against Detroit. And then 2 out of 3 against Texas. And that's where they're at. And that's how they got here. The crowds were amazing. I don't know what the final crowd was for today. But the final 6 home games, not including today, 29-5, 26-3, 39, 36-2. I didn't even know the stadium still held 36,000 fans yesterday. And they got to see the Guardians celebrate a playoff spot yesterday, a division championship today. How about a nice Guardians-Reds World Series? I'd like to see that. The Battle of Ohio for the World Series. That would be really cool. I would enjoy that. All right, that's going to do it for me tonight. Again, thank you, everybody, for joining me. And again, I will be on right after the game. Thanks, Jason. 31,000 at the game today. Just great. Just great. This is a topic for the offseason. But let me tell you something, Dolans. You owe the fans to spend some money this offseason. They came through this last week for you big time. You fans were awesome, and we could still be a baseball city here. Ownership needs to do their part. I did speak to somebody today that I know who knows the Dolans, and he said he thinks they're going to sell off the team in the next 2 years to the minority owner. Anywho, again, thank you, everybody, for joining me, as always. Please, if you haven't done so already, please hit the subscribe button. I'd appreciate it. I will be, like I said, back Tuesday immediately after the game. Zach Meisel and I will have an episode of the Ultimate Cleveland Guardian Show tomorrow. I'll be on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show tomorrow. I'll be on Betting Weekly Hardball tomorrow. I got a busy week, and I love it. I love it. Love every minute of it. Thank you all for joining me. Thank you to Max and Z for producing today. Everybody have a great night. I'll talk to you next time. Where else but right here, the Bullpen with Adam the Bull, brought to you by Bet Rivers. See you, everybody. Go Guards. Let's kick ass in the postseason.